ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show. I'm your man behind the mic as always, Scholar Jeff. To my left is Scholar Tark. What's happening, sir?
All is well, and nothing else more.
And to my other left is Scholar Brian. What's the haps?
Hi, my brain is melting. This should be good.
This is going to be a very fun show, just from Brian starting it saying his brain is melting.
Oh yes, there was a lot to talk about this week, even outside of the regular happenings on Monday Night Raw. But let's face it, with the way this show has been going and the timing we had last week, I think we need to address the elephant in the room before we go any further, and that is Roddy Piper passing away literally the day after we recorded our last show. I don't think we could have had any worse timing if we tried.
We couldn't have had any worse news.
It happened.
Yeah, really.
It happened legitimately the morning after we recorded this show. Legitimately. Like, I woke up to go to work the next morning, and it came over the news feeds and the Twitter sphere and the internet that Roddy Piper had passed away. And first of all, your heart drops.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a guy you grew up on. Without Roddy Piper and his mic skills and his heel tactics, you don't get any of the stuff you get today. You don't get The Rock, you don't get Chris Jericho, you don't get Stone Cold. You don't get any of them because everybody bases a little bit of their act from Roddy Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody.
I think that goes without saying.
Everybody. Without Roddy Piper, you don't have pretty much 95%. You have divas. Maybe 3 of them. And that's what you get in the WWE today. Without Roddy Piper.
So, real quick, because really at this point I don't think we really could say anything that hasn't already been said dozens of times over by now. Just go back, if you had to pick out something, what's your favorite memory of Roddy Piper? Could be a match, could be a moment. Favorite memory of Roddy Piper? Go.
You need to think about this one, Brian.
Okay.
Well, I've got 2. Okay, You've got, obviously, the coconut to Jimmy Snuka's head on the Piper's Pit.
That was too easy for me, so I wasn't going to go with that one.
And
hey, it
was a big moment.
The entire, what was that movie he did?
They Live?
That entire movie. 2 hours of just Roddy Piper moments that will live on in history, that coined the phrase, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. With that entire movie, guess what? Heaven just ran out of bubblegum.
And you know what?
So he's there to kick ass in heaven?
Yes.
It's kind of weird because everyone's been saying that line wrong. He technically says it the other way around. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. But you know what? The way everyone else says it, actually,
it sounds better.
It flows better. But you know what? When you think of that, it's just nonstop Roddy Piper and the movie ending with an alien having sex. What's on, baby? Credits.
Oh boy.
I don't even care. The movie's
love that
awesome.
Movie. The movie, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, there's no other movie that will end with a woman finding out she's having sex with an alien.
And of course, then you have Roddy Piper be. People didn't tune in to WrestleMania 1 to see. I've heard it said over the internet, and I agree with it. People did not tune in to the first WrestleMania to see Hulk Hogan win. They tuned in to see Roddy Piper lose. And I will stand by that until the end of time. Without Roddy Piper, WrestleMania doesn't work. And we have nothing of what we have today.
Very interesting. It sort of pales in comparison to what I think of as soon as I think of Roddy Piper. Because really, Roddy Piper in his prime, I feel like for the most part, was really done out of his prime when I first started watching wrestling with WCW, which he was a part of for a brief while. But really, when I think of Roddy Piper, one thing that really jumps out to me just from recent memory is his appearance on Legends House, of all things, where you would sort of see little moments of him being sort of a curmudgeonly or more morose, but still just like a strange sort of grizzled sort of personality you really saw out of Roddy Piper. So it was like, and especially with the way he was during the later years of his life, where it was just sort of like mellow and at peace and just really smiling all the time.
And trying to convince everyone that Mr. America was Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
I know, very obscure.
I know, it just sort of made me think of like what really was up with Roddy Piper. And especially, I didn't even know this before he passed, that he was the one who officially gave his blessing to Ronda Rousey to take the Rowdy nickname.
Well, that makes everything that she did after that UFC fight make complete sense.
Yeah, and I thought that was really sweet, very classy.
And that was great.
And that's why
if a wrestling fan wasn't a fan of Ronda Rousey before, well, first of all, what the hell is wrong with you? And second of all, that might be the greatest thing I have ever seen in a UFC pay-per-view. Just it was so heartfelt, and I got tears in my eyes.
Oh yeah, so did I. I wanted to be there and be like, "Good job. Here's some bubble gum." Because you did all the kicking ass you need.
Oh yeah,
34 seconds.
Well, I was going to say, wasn't it 35?
The last 3 fights have lasted 2 minutes in total
combined. Yeah, that is just crazy.
Yeah, I know. Most men I know would be really lucky if they only lasted 2 minutes with Ronda Rousey.
Reaching the climax jokes early.
Am I wrong?
No, you are not wrong.
All right.
Well, I guess we could segue from there.
Before we move on, any other Roddy Piper memories from you, Fool, or anybody else?
Basically, there's only a couple times where he was like iffy. In the like, they brought him back one time for that Piper's Pit segment with Jericho, Miz.
I know the one.
And Ziggler, and that was just off the rails and awkward and weird. And other than that, Roddy Piper has always been the consummate professional. He loves his fans. I was hearing stories from cons that he was at where this guy was from a movie blog, a very little known site, whatever, and he asked to talk to Roddy Piper. He was like, yeah, I'll talk to you. Pull up a chair, have a 2-hour conversation for no reason. And that
just full of random stuff.
It's Roddy Piper was a wrestling fan's dream. Great in the ring, great to all of his fans. Even had fun with the haters on Twitter.
And he really did go too early. It's really sad to hear.
It's just, I feel like we're gonna hear a lot of these. Like, we've heard a lot of them, and I feel like we're gonna hear a lot more.
Yeah,
because of the way that they lived their lives back
then. Yeah,
back then, like they treated themselves like rock stars.
In a way, they kind of were.
They kind of were, and they acted like it, and it's now coming back to catch every single one of them.
Yeah. But, okay, before we move on, just one quick question. You were talking about hits and misses, particularly the misses. I'm trying to remember the last real feud that he was a part of, which was with Jericho, and he had that match at WrestleMania, Jericho versus Piper, Superfly
and
Steamboat. That's the last guy. Was that one a bust?
No,
I'm trying to remember. No. I'm trying to remember that, but
it was one of those things where we knew that Superfly and Piper couldn't go at their peak like they used to.
So you knew that Jericho was going to take them out pretty easily.
So in that sense, it was sort of a disappointment, but no one really remembers it as such, because that was when we realized that
they're old.
No, when we realized
that for everything that Piper and Superfly can't do,
Steamboat can do it.
Still can.
Yeah.
And that's what really everyone remembers for.
So, and the build-up to that entire thing was amazing. So, everybody remembers the build-up.
But the
Steamboat... And everybody remembers the build-up. They don't really care about the first 5 minutes of the execution of that match when Jericho took out the two of them easily. They remember the 15 minutes of Steamboat versus Jericho afterwards.
Okay. I just remember thinking about that. I'm just like, was that really worth it?
Yeah, and the knockout blow from Mickey Rourke afterwards.
And that's pretty much that entire match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, again, like we said at the top, beyond just our own personal memories, there's really not much more we can say about Roddy Piper that hasn't already been said dozens and dozens of times before.
Except, thank you for the memories.
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Piper.
Hot Rod.
I hope you're enjoying the greatest WrestleMania in heaven right now.
Go up and fight more with Savage.
Oh yeah,
and the Warrior, and Dusty Rhodes.
Savage Warrior, Dusty Rhodes.
The pictures, the memes on Twitter say it all. The card up in heaven right now is glorious.
Oh
yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love that picture, and I'm also sad by it.
Yes,
I think we all are. But hey, speaking of awesome cards, I think it's time we have a little bit of an update.
That's on what?
On the one and only G1 Climax 25, from courtesy of New Japan. Do you have any jokes to say?
Right now, no, because you're expecting it. You're expecting it. It has to come naturally.
Yeah, you can't ask the question.
As all good climax must.
There you go. Exactly. You proved the point. Yes. I find that. Oh yeah.
Has to come naturally. Can't be forced.
Oh.
The exquisite climax.
You can't facepalm that because you started that one yourself.
You did that. That's
all
on
talk
you.
About is New Japan Pro Wrestling.
No,
okay.
But you have to take it. You took that one first.
I can't.
You reached the climax way before we did.
He can't, but he already did.
No shame, fool. No shame.
I hate you guys sometimes. I really do. Anyway, we're up to, I believe, about the halfway mark of the G1 Climax.
There you go.
And we've actually seen some
potential.
Oh yes. Actually, not yet, but we have seen some very interesting things so far. We haven't even gotten into the real exciting part of it yet. We haven't gotten to
the exciting part of the climax.
We haven't even reached the climax yet.
We haven't reached the climax of the climax. This has to be the most immature wrestling show on the internet. But I don't care.
But it's fun.
Yes. So anyway, let's dive right in. These are the current standings of the G1 Climax as of August 4th. We have in A block Katsuyori Shibata, AJ Styles, Tanahashi, Tetsuya Naito, and Bad Luck Fale, all with 8 points in A block. With 6 points, Kota Ibushi and Togi Makabe. With 4 points, we have our boy Toru Yano, aka DVD Phil.
At least
4 points.
At least he's not in last place.
Oh yeah, interesting story about that. I was watching before we move on. Also, to round out the rest of A block, we have Doc Gallows and Hiroyoshi Tenzan, both with 2 points each. And anyway, like I was saying before, the other day when I believe it was the last day that was aired of the G1 Climax. Occasionally, I get these times when I just can't sleep or I don't sleep well, and I end up waking up super early. I end up waking up super early. I look at the clock. I'm like, oh, wait, a G1 Climax show is going on. Okay, I believe I will watch it. So I get myself a cup of coffee. I grab a bagel. I'm just like ready to sit down. What's the match I catch on? I end up catching DVD Phil versus who is it?
It was, I think, if it was the match that we just watched before recording, it was Tenzan.
That was one of the earlier ones.
Good thing you didn't bring that up.
Oh no, it was DVD Phil versus Shibata.
Shibata?
Yeah, basically he's basically like an Asian Chris Benoit. He's just like a no nonsense black trunks.
Well, he has 8 points, so it shows how that match went.
He's like an absolute monster. like in the first 5 seconds, he just runs up to DVD Phil and kicks him in the face, like really super hard. So like, yeah, this is about going to go as well as I think it will.
I'll give it 10 more seconds now.
So they have like a little back and forth match. DVD Phil's doing his typical heel shenanigans. All of a sudden, 5 minutes later, roll up 1, 2, 3. DVD Phil wins.
Oh wow! Wait, excuse me?
Yeah, Toru Yano beat Katsuyori Shibata.
Holy Christmas!
Huh?
I didn't.
DVD Phil.
DVD Phil.
You are our champion.
No, seriously. And the night before, I actually caught the match between him and Tanahashi, aka the Japanese John Cena. They actually went, and not only did they main event the show, but they actually ended up going like 20 or 25 minutes. And it was an actually exciting match. Nice. It's like seeing it, but it was still so surreal since we're still going by North American wrestling fan sensibilities. So that's like saying, okay, your main event is going to be Santino Marella versus John Cena.
I was going to say John Cena versus Zack Ryder, but you know what? Santino works too.
But either way, they still like, and it's like getting that match and they end up going like 25 minutes and tearing the house down. It's so surreal, but it's like, it's a walking example of how you can have a comedy character in wrestling who's not a complete joke as an actual in-ring performer.
That's how normally overseas works. Like, you have the complete joke character, but he puts on he 25-minute main event matches that are amazing.
It's just so weird. It's like, okay, Japan, what else are you holding out on us?
Well, as you said, we're looking at New Japan, and considering how we were, like you said, focused more on the North American standards of wrestling with WWE, wrestling is more of a cartoon in WWE's eyes. That's why the joke characters are just that, jokes. But at least in New Japan, they respect the wrestling fans of our age, of our generation. So when they have the joke characters, they have to be like, well, you can have your character be a jokey character, but you really got to go put on good matches too.
Got to give them something to do.
Exactly. You got to be
when you
worth
do this,
the payments.
It's not just like a John Cena effect where you're just sort of like mowing through everybody. Anyway, moving on to the Block B on your screen right now. It's the right side. Yeah. We have, with 8 points, Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada with 8 points. Also with 8 points, the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii, who I still think is an absolute badass. He's like an Asian Taz. I love the guy.
Asian Taz, that'll get me on your side in a heartbeat.
There you go. Also, we got the 6-pointer club. Carl Anderson, Hiroki Goto, my boy Nakamura, and
how's his elbow doing?
His elbow is okay. He only really just had to forfeit the one match with Michael Elgin. Other than that, didn't really slow him down. It's just really the elbow is just taped up. But otherwise,
so he's back in the mix.
He's back in the mix, and he's probably going to win most of his matches.
So we're back in the mindset of Nakamura's probably gonna.
I'm still pulling for Nakamura personally.
Well, yeah, me too. It's just this is just one match since his injury, correct?
Yeah, it's really actually. I think by now it's probably going to be like 2 or 3 by the time this comes up.
Has the pace changed? Have you noticed the pace was different, than his matches before?
Not really. He's still doing like flipping arm bars and all that, and also, if you remember, he's also built like Edge, where he's sort of like he's not like huge and bulky, but he's very like tall and lanky, like Edge used to be. So yes. Plus, he's also like his big finisher is just like a running knee strike. So he basically doesn't really need to incorporate the elbow all that much. Mm. Even like for all his taunting and like in the ring, he uses his other arm.
There you go.
So it really doesn't slow him down that much.
Okay.
So even though he might be injured, he can basically rest it while still like doing all his big stuff.
Awesome.
So again, still pulling for Nakamura. Elsewhere in Block B, we've got Yujiro Takahashi and Satoshi Kojima.
Kojima!
There you go.
With 4 points each. And Takahashi may or may not have brought back Mao. I do not know. I didn't.
Mao.
Oh, meow indeed.
Mao.
I mean, talk about climax jokes. I mean, hey, come on.
Who's this dude with 0?
Well, first we gotta get to Yuji Nagata, which 2 points. And then
That's
Tomoaki Hanma.
We found the jobber.
Oh yeah, this guy never wins. His big thing is he'll just go for random, just falling headbutts in the
well, yeah,
matches.
We just named him the falling headbutt guy. So if that's all he has in his arsenal, it's pretty much.
If the flare flop was an actual wrestling maneuver, and you added it to a wrestler's arsenal, you would get this guy.
How quick are his matches?
Not too quick, actually. I think the last one went like 5 or 10, not like 5 minutes, but more like around like 8 or 10.
Which is another thing for Japan that they do. A jobber that you know is a jobber in the States, 2 minutes. Tops.
Not even.
Tops. On a good day, 2 minutes. Tops.
He was a jobber, but the match wasn't a squash.
Here, even if you're a jobber, you get the 8 to 10 minute deal, so you can still have good matches.
Here's the best way to put it: there are no jobbers, but there are jobbers to the stars, where they put on good matches, but they still lose. Instead of just pulling "Oh, I'm going to face you for the title, big boot, you're dead."
Yeah, pretty much. Hanma could easily have been in that category, but he's not.
And at least there's that. He's not a complete. He's not a jobber. He's just a jobber to the stars, as I put.
He's just a dude. He's just a dude.
The dude abides.
The dude does abide. So yeah, that's about halfway home with the G1 Climax. I believe we still have towards like the middle to latter portion of August before this whole thing heads home.
Before this thing reaches the full climax.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Before we actually see.
Before the explosion occurs.
You know what? It's gonna be a very interesting show when the Climax tournament is over.
Oh yeah, that's
the jokes that are gonna come.
It's just.
Oh.
It just won't end.
The climax will never end.
The climax will just reach its full
potential. It's a never-ending climax.
Never-ending climax.
All right, the climax may never end, but I'm ending this segment right now.
Works!
All right, worst segue ever.
Desperate segue ever.
In any case, we need to do what we really need to do elsewhere in this show. Our other favorite segment. Let's sojourn into the backstage world of backstage news.
You know, I'm very confused with how you were segueing into that. But you know what? Since the climax is over, let us go ahead and peek behind the curtain and check in on a little
backstage news.
Ah! Whoa, that's a different ending.
And that transition was totally intentional, I assure you.
Are you sure?
Yes.
No. Anywho, let's get right into it. First off, one I personally care about way more than I expected to. Next week, it's confirmed. Stephen Amell is coming to Raw. Basically, a.k.a. Green Arrow from Arrow.
Well, here's the question. Where are they going to put it in the show? Is it going to be ending the first hour or the second hour? Because you know
probably bunch of. You also get kids watching the TV show, so it'll probably be at the end of the first hour, like the 9 o'clock. So you'll have a Stardust match, round 8:50, 8:55 or so, and Stephen Amell will come out around 9 o'clock.
As long as he's okay. Just as a little bit of background, I started marathoning Arrow right before this announcement was made.
Yeah.
I just finished season 1 today. I'm like all of season
badass,
1.
Right?
My cousin is Captain Boomerang.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh damn! Do we know what season that is? Because I'm only like
2.
3.
He's in season 2.
About halfway through.
Didn't he show up in the finale of season 1?
No. Captain Boomerang didn't.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm only like three episodes deep in season 2 right now.
But yeah,
you'll find out.
But yeah, my cousin Nick Tarabay is in season 2 and he plays Captain Boomerang.
As part of the TV Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
exactly.
I am honestly loving this show right now. And seriously, talk about G1 Climaxes here. I don't know who she is, but the girl who plays Felicity.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
No, wait. You have to do it Ron Simmons style. Scholars of Wrestling.
Damn.
There you go.
Hey.
Yeah. Yep.
She
was only supposed. She was only supposed to be a bit character, and then people were like so.
Yeah, seriously.
We'll just say that the response was very positive.
The response was so positive that hey, main characters through 3 seasons.
Yeah, let's give her more excuses to attend functions and get her in all these evening dresses and have her hair down and other things. Yeah. Everyone in this show is sexy.
And you said we're trying to move away from the climax. What's wrong with you?
Well, then you got me talking about Arrow and Felicity Girl
and the climax came back in full force.
I'm sorry, there's too many climaxes. I can't help it.
Ew.
Hey, as long as Stephen Amell at some point says the phrase "Cody Rhodes, you have failed this city," I'm going to be good.
You have failed the WWE.
You have failed this company.
Yeah.
Will he say Cody Rhodes or will he say Stardust?
I'm going to say Cody Rhodes just because he just gets to the. He's looking beyond Stardust. Like, you know what? I'm not screwing around with it.
No, I'm not screwing.
Cody Rhodes, you have failed your family.
Oh,
that would be a little too rough.
No, then that's the impetus for Cody Rhodes to beat the shit out of Stephen Amell, and then you get your match.
Well,
okay.
I don't think that they're gonna have him pull a heel tactic. I mean, he's a guest appearance, and guest appearances usually are
Cody
faces.
Rhodes is the heel, right? So it's like you said. Mm-hmm. That's a face move. Say you have failed your family, and then Cody Rhodes snaps and does a heel tactic, beating the ever loving shit out of Stephen Amell, and there's your SummerSlam match.
Well, they are wanting to have Steve Amell be in the corner of Neville.
Okay,
so maybe still works. So that could work if Neville comes out for the save. I just don't. I guess he could probably say the whole "you failed the family." It's maybe a little too cold.
Mm-hmm.
But I could see him
at least probably go fail the company.
I see him fail the company. I also see him making the whole Cody Rhodes thing a big deal because you know how Stardust doesn't like to be called.
You have failed Cody Rhodes.
And then Stardust will go May 19th on him.
You have to do the Arrow catchphrase. You have to.
Any variation of that, I would love to see. But anyway, just the timing couldn't be any better for once. I'm just totally jazzed about next week's Raw because of it. Speaking of other good things in wrestling, there's a lot to look like in NXT right now.
There's a lot to look like?
There's
look
a lot,
at.
What did I say?
You said look like.
Okay. I'm still thinking of Felicity. I'm sorry.
Hey!
There's a lot to like on NXT right now.
There you go.
There's always a lot to like on NXT, but particularly right now. Why is that?
Because Uhaa Nation is finally coming to NXT.
And his name is Apollo Jones.
No, his name is Apollo Crews.
Yeah,
is it Cruz?
That's
I
don't know if that's any better.
I know it's Apollo. I didn't catch it's Apollo Crews.
His name is Apollo Crews.
That's
actually what they're calling it.
I don't think that's any better.
Well, it is just because it makes.
You know what it's based on.
You know what's making me think of, fool.
It's based on Apollo Creed.
I was about to say the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep me down.
Actually, I thought they really first thing it honestly made me think of is Old Spice or Blocker Body Wash. Blocking order for 16 hours.
Oh God, Terry Crews. Oh God,
Old Spice.
Block order for 16 hours. Power.
No,
that's how he wins his matches with power.
This is all based off the Creed movie that's coming out at Thanksgiving. So they're like, hey, let's make this dude, and his name is Apollo Crews. Wink, wink.
I don't understand how WWE will connect that. Like, if I don't know, Sylvester Stallone shows up on NXT or something, but
no, I just feel like Apollo Crews. Are you serious? There's obviously a reason for it.
Yeah,
and the reason it's like a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a boxing gimmick, like his finisher is like a punch.
You know what his gimmick is going to be? His NXT gimmick is going to be inheriting. He's going to inherit the Terry Crews ability from the Old Spice commercials, where he turns things into other things by yelling at them really hard.
His muscle will turn into an arm of muscle?
Yes, his muscle will turn into an arm of muscle. He'll go backstage and he'll just find like Bull Dempsey or something.
He'll do backstage segments
and
where
he'll be like, "Power!" And he'll just turn it'll turn into a badass.
Power!
You'll see you'll see Bull Dempsey walking backstage, and then you'll just see Apollo Crews with things attached to his muscles, and every time he flexes, it like turns on something like that.
Health food. He'll just be like walking in the back eating a sandwich, Bull Dempsey. I'll just be like eating like burritos or something that's like health food, and it's just like boom, explosion, and he's just eating like a bunch of carrots.
What the hell are we talking about?
We're talking about the greatest gimmick in the known universe.
That we're making assumptions for, really.
All I know is I thought this morning this name was stupid, but now that we're talking about it, this could be the greatest thing ever.
But we're just. But the real sad reality is...
The sad reality is it's stupid.
The sad reality is we don't know what it's going to be. Is it going to be like Apollo Creed? Is it going to be Old Spice-esque?
I think...
I want him to become Old Spice.
I think the more likely thing is that it's going to be like Apollo Creed. He's going to have some kind of boxing gimmick. Because who comes up with Apollo without thinking about Apollo Creed? Come on. Think about it.
Apollo 13?
So he looks like a spaceship?
Well,
spaceship power!
Well, you just asked, what else do you think about when you hear Apollo?
Yeah, and the dude...
So,
okay,
yeah.
I don't want to bring race into it, okay, but Apollo Creed is black. Apollo Crews is black. He's got the look, and in the video packages... He's looked like a boxer, kind of. Like his ring attire and all that looks like a boxer. It's based off of Apollo Creed.
Okay.
I 95% believe it's got to be Apollo Creed. The 5% of me hopes that it's power.
You want Old Spice odor blocker body wash blocking odor for 16 hours.
Yeah, but the more likely thing is a character based off of Apollo Creed.
The most likely thing is...
I want a guy who's a shill for Old Spice.
So we can go up against John... So
the most likely thing is, I'm on a horse.
Okay.
I think we're having too much fun with this topic.
Yeah, I think we need to have another Climax joke again.
God damn it.
So, elsewhere.
Climax?
You may have noticed...
I swear if this is a Divas.
It is a Divas segment.
Oh my god.
There's where the Climax comes in. Who are we talking about?
Well, remember when, I'm not sure if you heard this, but last week on Raw, we had, who is it? Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Paige.
It's building up.
Yeah. The three of them formed a team with a name.
Oh yeah, before
they called themselves the Submission Sorority.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, apparently that term is associated with a porn site owned by Bang Bros.
Wait, really?
Oh boy.
Yeah, so
that team name didn't last very long.
Yeah, so they're like,
well, you know what? Now I understand the Climax joke.
Yeah, so they already reported like a 35% increase in subscribers right after they made that announcement on Raw.
Oh,
so
dear.
they're like, hey, thank you for all the subscribers. We're actually thinking about sending you guys a gift basket. Thank you very much.
Ew.
For her pleasure.
Derp.
Oh my.
Yeah, I know, really. It's like, that is not my thing. I don't want to know.
How very PG of you, WWE.
It's more like the choice of a writer who was just really, really naive.
He wasn't naive at all. He wasn't naive at all. He knew what he was doing.
He knew exactly what he was doing. He wanted to see if the WWE would catch it.
I don't know. It was just a product of an indecent proposal towards one of the divas. Hey, I want to show you this one thing.
Power.
Oh, these ladies did not.
It's one of these weeks.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, boy.
Look what you've done.
WWE, you have failed this city.
You have failed this city, and you have amused us greatly.
You have amused the scholars with your failures.
Okay. You want to know something that's not so amusing? Hopefully it'll cool us all down.
Okay.
Naked Rey Mysterio.
Oh, no!
Why would you bring that up?
And it goes back in.
Because ESPN brought it up.
ESPN? But
yes. ESPN, for their Spanish-speaking issue of ESPN magazine, they're doing, these body issues?
Oh, the swimsuit?
No, the body issues. Where they just have a bunch of athletes.
I was trying to make it better.
Oh my god!
I can deal with. I can deal with Rey Mysterio in a swimsuit.
Okay, let's put it this way: are you familiar? You're not familiar with the ESPN body issues? Is that correct?
I am. I'm just trying to make it better.
Well, let me explain for those who don't know. ESPN body issues are just like a celebration of athletes' bodies.
Yeah.
Where all the athletes are naked.
Yeah.
But they're strategically covered.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's really great.
Yeah.
Like in one issue, they've got Ronda Rousey.
Ooh.
This is good.
Ooh, yeah.
This is very good. Coming back.
They've got like the Williams sisters and the Ronda Rouseys of the world, which is a good thing.
Coming back.
Then you've got people who are not Ronda Rousey. Nothing really rings a bell right now because, when you see Ronda Rousey naked, you're just like, whatever. To everybody else in the room.
Really? Like whatever?
Ronda Rousey is
Ronda Rousey.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah, but that caught me off guard. He was like, "Oh, Ronda Rousey, whatever." I'm like, "Wait, what? Excuse me?"
It's like Ronda Rousey, Venus and Serena Williams, and other people I don't even care about or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently Rey Mysterio is going to be in the Spanish-speaking edition of this.
And is back down.
Yeah.
No.
Wearing only a mask.
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Thank you for that update. We don't need any more. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. That's how we end it. Rey Mysterio naked. Oh,
no. But wait. There's more.
No, we heard enough.
No, not about Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's done.
Thank you.
How about some good news for a change?
Please.
Depends.
Kind of push me back here.
Because apparently we learned something this week. That yoga is good for you.
Smile. DDP smile.
Yes.
Since this is a...
That's not a bad thing.
That's
a good thing.
But you know what's the even better thing?
What's a better thing?
Our boy DDP just got married again.
There you go.
And his wife's pretty good looking.
Oh, you've seen her?
Yes.
Yes. He apparently married...
good for you!
Brenda Nair this week.
Good for you!
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah,
that makes me happy.
I honestly didn't expect him to get remarried after all this time. But hey, that's... DDP, after all it's been going on with you, you've earned it, I'd say.
You've earned that smile.
Yes, he has. And that is indeed a very good thing.
Big
DDP face.
DDP face because, we're not a video.
Yes. We're not a video podcast yet.
You're going to see pictures on the internet.
Anyway, bringing it all full circle.
Quick flash on our video of the DDP smile. Smile, gone.
We'll find it. We'll find it somewhere. Anyway, one last little tidbit. Apparently, for years, Vince McMahon has been a millionaire who should be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? He's a billionaire again.
Yay!
I guess
according to Forbes.com, who measures net worth in real time.
Yeah.
Because the WWE Network has been doing so well, reportedly doing better than, quote unquote, better than the pay-per-view model ever was. Apparently, things are so lucrative for for them now that Forbes.com now puts Vince McMahon's estimated net worth at around $1.2 billion.
Yay! Congrats to Vince McMahon.
Let's face it, okay? The TV shows have been iffy at best for the WWE, but the pay-per-views have been
pretty well.
Alright to pretty good. So there hasn't been like a completely horrible one. And
you have NXT.
And people have been coming back slowly but surely after the Roman Reigns Royal Rumble debacle. So it makes sense to me that the WWE Network is making Vince McMahon rich. It was a smart move to do the network. It really was, because when the WWE was doing pay-per-views and not doing the network, the pay-per-views weren't good, so people weren't spending the $60 to do it. Now everybody's getting on the network bandwagon because, hey, all of this for $10.
How can you go wrong?
How can you go wrong? And apparently he didn't go wrong. He went very right, because now he's a billionaire once more.
And yeah, the network may have had a slow start, but what a new product doesn't have a slow start, really?
Amiibos.
And everybody, and all the people who left after the Royal Rumble, except for our co-host Jeff here.
I'll probably come back eventually.
It's one of those. It's a spur of the moment thing, and as soon as Roman Reigns didn't win at WrestleMania, they all started buying back in.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, I don't want Roman Reigns to win the main event at WrestleMania. Okay, so we won't have Roman Reigns win the main event at WrestleMania. Okay, good. You can have me back. That's
you can have my $9. You know what? You can have my under $10. I'm not gonna go there.
All right.
my 1 cent minus $10.
All right.
And they've been doing good things. So
absolutely.
Good for Vince McMahon.
So that about wraps up all our backstage news for this week, as much as it was. Now, earlier before we went on the show, we do have one little new segment that we'd like to try that I believe you called Scholars Quick Talk.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The name needs work. But yes, since WWE Raw wasn't exactly very eventful, other than the fact that we already knew that Paul Heyman is an awesome talker and he can speak Latin.
Raw was Raw. Raw did Raw things.
Raw was Paul Heyman speaking Latin and Brock Lesnar improvising, taking the steel steps and throwing him into the ring to use as a pedestal, which actually was brilliant.
And there was no John Cena in his nose.
Except pictures.
Only amusing vines.
Yes.
Anyway, so
and
what do you got for us?
For our WWE topic, I brought in a new segment, which is temporarily called Scholars Quick Talk. We'll figure out a good name for it, where I'll just give various topics that we'll quickly talk about. See what I did there?
Yes.
And
so what you got?
Let's start with the first. I have 5 or 6 little mini topics for WWE related, and let's start with the most interesting feud with the main roster that are not part-timers.
Does the feud with Stephen Amell count with Stardust and Neville count?
Take Stephen Amell out of it, just Stardust and Neville.
I'm going Owen Cesaro.
Why?
Because, first of all, okay, the two combatants, you know you're going to get great stuff out of these guys. You know you're going to get great matches. You know it's probably going to steal the show at SummerSlam. And the fact that Kevin Owens is basically... him getting over on Cesaro has been by sneak attack. Okay, the first time it happened, he came out on SmackDown, just threw him into the ropes after his match and pop a powerbomb. Then on Raw, Cesaro comes out to get revenge, takes out Sheamus, goes to run to the ropes to take out Sheamus again. Sheamus grabs his leg, goes to the ropes to grab Sheamus, gives Kevin Owens enough time to pop up and hit him with another pop-up powerbomb. Okay, you're not getting like actual one-on-one matches. You're not getting actual confrontations other than
Miz TV.
And I don't even count that as like a hand-to-hand confrontation.
That was actually a fun segment.
It was really fun. It's like when Kevin Owens and Cesaro can make a Miz TV segment fun, that's enough to be the most interesting feud for me. That's it.
All right, Fool.
Really, I already gave my answer with
Neville.
Stardust Neville.
Oh, there you go.
Just because of how different it is compared to everything else we're seeing. Sure, what you just described is absolutely fantastic as far as conventional wrestling goes, and this could be totally biased as far as appealing to my nerdish sensibilities, but this was really catching my eye right now with this whole Stephen Amell's Green Arrow versus Stardust thing. It's different, and from what we've seen so far, it's being executed pretty damn well. And I know it's going to rope in a whole lot of extra new viewers.
And I will agree
Stephen
on
Amell is the Green Arrow. Neville's finishing move is the Red Arrow. There you go.
Arrows everywhere.
I will agree mainly with Brian, because that is my most interesting feud, KO versus Cesaro, just because I love them both. But I do agree with you, Fool, that Neville and Stardust is also a very great feud, because it actually reminds me of like going back to the Attitude Era, where the mini feuds were actually just as important. They were actually being invested, given time.
The mini feuds were
just as interesting.
Were just as important, and most of the time better than the main stuff. And I like that it's coming back to they're actually giving time and meaning to the undercard.
Exactly.
Instead of in recent years when if you weren't fighting for the WWE title, you just weren't fighting. You weren't fighting, you weren't relevant at all. And now they're bringing back the Attitude Era style, and I love it.
I love it as well. All right, next
one.
topic.
What you got?
Sting will make an appearance at SummerSlam. You think so?
I don't think so.
It's really difficult to tell from my perspective just without knowing what the grand design is.
I know that just from what's going on WWE television right now, do you think Sting will make some kind of appearance?
No, because I believe that the plan was for it to happen if Eric Rowan was around. Okay, then you could have that 6-man tag. The plan was, the way I understand it, the plan was the entire Wyatt family gets back together, comes at Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. They get a mystery partner, and at SummerSlam, out comes Sting. I believe that was the grand design of the whole thing. But now that Eric Rowan isn't available, and they're not, from what I understand, they're not doing the thing we talked about last week with Leo Kruger and Adam Rose. They're just gonna have the tag team match, and that makes Sting. That makes Sting like they don't need him.
Did you hear what they're doing with Adam Rose now?
What are they doing with Adam
He's
Rose?
now in a tag team with Brad Maddox.
I did actually hear that.
They're like, what is it, beefcake or something?
Okay, that is most likely the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
They actually posted a picture, I believe, on Instagram of Adam Rose and Brad Maddox posing in like strongman flexes.
Yeah, but I believe that if that is the storyline that was supposed to happen, and if that is now not going down, then there's no reason. There's no need for Sting. There's no reason for Sting.
Yeah, I totally agree. If they've got something different in mind, or they've got some sort of secret quiet thing that they're going to pull off that's special, that would really be of like blatant benefit to have Sting there, I'd say, like, if I had any real big hint of that, I'd say, yeah, bring on Sting. But right now, I'm not saying Sting won't show up. I'm just saying that I'm not really seeing enough that would make me think that.
Okay.
All right, I think we've got time for one more. What do you got? Unless it's like a really quick one. Let's see.
Okay, there is a big rumor going around that the winner of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match and the U.S. title match that the winner is going to drop the United States Championship the next night on Raw.
Which is why I think Seth Rollins will win.
Yeah.
If that is the rumor, and if that's what's going down, I can see Seth Rollins being like, I don't need this title. Spit on the title, stomp on it, Kevin Owens style, and be like, I'm the World Heavyweight Champion. Screw this title. I see the way that John Cena's character is. Okay, he would hold both those titles with pride. And he'd be doing his invitational. He'd be wrestling 2 matches a night. One for the United States title, one for the World Heavyweight Championship title. So if that rumor is true, expect a Seth Rollins victory at SummerSlam.
I don't know. I think that no matter which way this goes, no matter what, they definitely have the potential to make a really big star-making turn for just about anyone who comes out and challenges for the double title, or whatever ends up happening, which I personally would love to see, because at this rate, no matter who wins, no matter who goes over, this is actually going to look absolutely spectacular for whoever wins U.S. title. That's one of the big advantages to how the U.S. title is being booked right now. And I think that basically, not only will it happen, it should also happen. I think it will happen sooner than we think. And personally, I don't care who wins it, because whoever wins it is gonna shoot off like a rocket.
Because let's face it, okay, John Cena has done the most for the United States title out of anybody in the WWE ever. Okay, the United States title would probably pisses off fellow scholar Tarek. In my mind, has jumped the Intercontinental title. It's now the second most important title in the company.
For the moment, anyway.
For the moment, and the way they're building it up, it seems like it's going to stay that way. But when this match was first announced, I was like, oh, John Cena in another title match, another main event. But when you're talking about SummerSlam, title versus title, that's big. Man, and for the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, that's probably the smart main event. If you're talking truth, if you're talking honesty, and the big time main event for SummerSlam is title versus title, your two biggest titles in the company going one-on-one, mano a mano to hold both. Okay, but I just feel like if this rumor is true that the person is going to drop the title, the only person who makes sense to win is Seth Rollins.
It's understandable.
The only person who makes sense, because John Cena's going to hold both those titles with pride and just be like, yeah, I'm the champion of all things, and I'm defending against everybody. And then you got Seth Rollins.
And then Tyler Breeze shows up and
shut up.
Wow. It's like, wow.
And then Tyler Breeze shows up, kicks John Cena in the face, and takes the U.S. title. Bam, instant star.
Take a nap.
And hell, people...
come on. There would be worse things.
People are saying that if, like, John Cena did win, he would basically pull a Stone Cold, like, giving the IC title to The Rock back in the 90s. Had say, he has the title... He now is waiting for, and he's been through so much with the United States title, seeing all the fresh blood wanting to go for it. He's no longer standing in the way, and he just puts it down. I hope that doesn't happen, because really, it would just kind of be like, well, we'll just since John Cena hasn't been in the main event title picture, we'll just quote unquote feed the mid card roster to John Cena, and so to have the John Cena be like, I don't need this anymore.
And I honestly believe that Seth Rollins is going to come out on top anyway because of the clean victory that he got at Raw last week. I mean, you're going to beat the dude clean twice. I don't know. Hey. That's like ultimate burial grounds.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, this one, in some ways at least, is still kind of up in the air, at least in terms of execution. So really, it actually went a little bit faster than I thought. Fool, you got one more for us?
Actually, I kind of have a fun one.
Okay.
I have a fun one to really end the show
All right,
with.
fire away. What do you got?
Any hope for King Barrett?
There's
none.
I'll tell you what. I am not normally a pessimist by trade. As far as I'm concerned, as long as Barrett is in the company, or even if he's out of it, there's always hope for someone with the caliber of talent that Wade Barrett has. I mean, let's face it. This is WWE we're talking about. They could take absolute liquid gold and turn it into absolute crap. I mean, that's kind of like what they do half the time. When they're not producing like absolute gold, they're producing absolute crap. It's sort of the WWE way by now.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think, Mr. I am the lead scholar in charge of the Intercontinental title. What do you think?
Wait for...
Well, first of all, let me put it this way, okay?
Wait, you kind of confused me. Wait, what
I was
about
asking your opinion.
Of King Barrett or the IC title?
King Barrett.
Sadly to say, as of right now, no, there's no hope for King Barrett. Because, come on, you're having him face a bunch of lower card. I mean, he's beating Zack Ryder. He's facing R-Truth and losing.
Let me put it this way, okay? You win the King of the Ring. The King of the fucking Ring. Okay? And your first feud is R-Truth. There's no hope.
Come on.
And you lose! You lose!
Hell, at least when Kurt Angle held the crown and robe, hell, when Sheamus held the crown and robe, they were still dominant.
You face R-Truth in your first feud, and you lose twice. Yeah, you end the feud with a win, but you lose twice before that. No, there's no hope for you. And then there's not a feud after that. You're facing Zack Ryder. No, it shows that the King of the Ring, first of all, is a farce.
Well, at least this year.
At this point. And it shows that they have no faith whatsoever that Wade Barrett can keep healthy.
The one bad thing about this year's King of the Ring is it wasn't a very good King of the Ring to begin with. It was quickly thrown together. It was a terrible bracket. A couple of people were good in it, but really it was quite possibly the worst bracket I have ever seen in the King of the Ring tournament.
I have a hard time going quite that far.
I actually have looked at every single bracket to compare it, and this one was terrible. This was like the low card King of the Ring. At least with all the other ones, they actually had some top talent, some top mid card talent fighting for it. I think. Let's see. I think the two biggest names was Dean Ambrose, Ziggler, and Barrett, and maybe Neville. But even though Neville is still a fresh guy, so he's not fully there yet. Mm-hmm. But it was like R-Truth, Luke Harper, who was at the time not doing anything. Granted, he put on a great match, but it was like it was a very weak. It was names that weren't established enough to really do anything special with the King of the Ring.
But still, most of them still had a lot to offer, which I think is what ultimately redeemed it in my eyes. They don't have to be the absolute top of the card, but it's sort of like the Intercontinental title effect, where they're definite workhorses. They're the hungry guys. They're guys who can put on a good match. For me, it's more of how the overall tournament was executed. That really left a lot to be desired for me, especially the finals.
It was all pretty much one night. I feel like they should have done something similar to what they're doing with the G1 Climax tournament. At least have it be like a multiple day thing, or how King of the Ring was back then, where they had. I won't say now do 32 superstars, but they did 16, and the 16 people will be the qualifying matches, and then 8. And then 4, 2, done.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel big anymore.
Because it wasn't.
And even with Sheamus, when he first won it, they didn't treat him like it for the first couple months afterwards. Mm-hmm. I'm this is the King of the Ring. He outlasted. I don't know if that one was 16 or 8. I'm pretty sure it was 8. But he outlasted 7 of your best superstars, and you're having him not be dominant. You're having him lose matches, I'm like, this is your King of the Ring.
But he was But at least he was losing to big names.
He was losing to big names. King Barrett's losing to R-Truth.
And barely going against Ryder.
So it's like, is there hope in the future, like 5 years down the line, if he gets that far? Maybe. But as of right now, no. Not at all.
We need to bring back Bad News.
Yeah,
bad
news needs to come
back.
Bad
news needs to come back.
Can I have some decorum, please?
And just one more. It's like one more, just one answer one. With Ryback saying he'll be back by SummerSlam, but that depends on how booking and how, if he's cleared to wrestle. Yes or no, will Ryback vacate the IC title?
No.
There you go. Thank you.
That was quick.
Like I said, one answer one.
All right. So that was
especially since, according to the spoilers tonight, okay, the triple threat match was made again.
Was it?
For SummerSlam.
Okay.
Okay, well, there you go.
So, Ryback will not
He'll just
vacate. He might lose.
He will be back.
He might lose the title, but he won't vacate.
I hope not.
All right, babamzos. So anyway, that was the first edition of the Scholars Quick Talk, aka whatever else we might end up changing it to down the road.
Like I said, name needs work.
Name needs work. But you know what? We want to know what else you think needs work. What's going on with Raw? What's your favorite Roddy Piper memory? Are you actually watching the G1 Climax with us? Are you looking for the climax of the climax?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We want to know. So, of course, you can get in touch with us through all the usual methods. Leave us a comment on this video. Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you want some more regular scholarly goodness in your face. Or if you want more, you can also follow us on Twitter. And all the usual matters.
Talking about the G1 Climax and there's a lot of scholar goodness in your face. Thank you, fool.
You're welcome. Also,
you should have seen the look on my face.
You can also like us on Facebook, the Scholars of Wrestling Show, and check us out all over the web. Join the conversation. Get free wrestling-related content to your Facebook wall. Join the conversation. Be a scholar with us. Do it.
Because who are we, fool?
Well, you know who we are. You want to know who we are, too. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
Let's watch more of the climax.
Jesus Christ.
Erupting in anticipation for the climax.